Well, I guess this wins the category for biggest box I've ever unboxed for anything. Because of its size, though, you won't really see the unboxing. This is the Overland Limited set from Bachmann, and it is massive. Very, very long set. And the reason is, it comes with lots of cars and a locomotive, a steam locomotive, a controller, and a larger than usual track for cars. So that's always very nice to have a larger than usual track compared to some of the other sets out there. It's really to accommodate all these cars, to give you some space to run. So we'll take a look at what you get in the box. Speaking of larger than usual track, this will be a 63 by 54 inch oval of easy track in this set. So we'll unbox it, see what we can get on camera and what we can't, and then we'll do a review of the set. Try to do some sets in the winter to show you guys what's available to get some people started in the hobby. So let's take a look next. So here's the back of the box. Again, very hard to get everything in the frame. You've got some black Easy Track. I'm not going to show you that because I realize I don't really have anywhere to set it up unless it's on the floor, but it's just very easy to connect. I'll show you a quick demonstration of that with some gray Easy Track, but keep in mind you get black in this review. You have a very simple controller that has direction on it, and then a knob, and then you have the set with all the cars there, and it also comes with the 484 steam locomotive and tender with smoke and operating headlight. Alright, now you get a sense of how the cars are packaged. You have the cars I just pulled this plastic back from. You have to tear it. It's like that shrink clear plastic wrap, the locomotive, and an other set of cars. So inside of that big box is 3 smaller boxes of locomotives and rolling stock, and then you've got your track and instruction manual and the controller. Just go ahead and pop a few of these out for you. Really sturdy cars, have good weight to them. It's a flat car with a load. Caboose, Union Pacific, and these do have plastic wheels and Easy Mate 2 couplers. It's the newer type of coupler. There was an older version of the set that had horn hook couplers at one time, I believe, or at least an older version of the set, so I believe this has been updated. Coal car, coal hopper, stock car with sliding doors. So pretty decent detail for, you know, a very reasonable price. You can get this set, although the MSRP is in the 400s, you can get it sometimes for $200 or $300 depending on if you go to an online retailer or brick and mortar hobby shop. There's sometimes discounts available, so there's deals to be had out there on these sets. So that is just some of the cars unboxed. We'll unbox the locomotive. Won't bore you to death with taking cars out of the plastic cradle. And then we'll get into the details of each car. Alright, we're unboxed the locomotive here. There's some tape on the ends and stuff like that. We'll get that unboxed. Again, very sturdy and heavy locomotive. And then the tender, which if you're new to the hobby, provides water or sometimes coal, oil, different fueling types to the locomotive. In this case, it's definitely not coal, like water. Last 3 cars real quick. Got a 4-bay hopper, another 4-bay hopper, and a boxcar. But all these cars have good weight, and I guess I told you I wasn't going to bore you with taking them all out, but I did anyway. Alright, videos like this can tend to get long, so we'll do a quick 360 of the locomotive, go over some quick details, let you see what you're getting here. Got a light here, smoke box details up front, smokestack. This does smoke if you add smoke fluid. I don't know if we'll be doing that for purposes of the demonstration today. Running boards, side rods, the Easy Mate 2 couplers we talked about. You do have some separately applied coupler cut lever there in the front. Drive rods on the side. Firebox back here with details. A handrail up here. This is engine number 806, a 484 steam locomotive. In the back, you can probably tell from that angle right there, butterfly doors for feeding the fire, and some backhead boiler detail, and the drawbar for the tender is swinging back and forth here. Some separately applied grab irons there as well. Just need to be plugged into their little perspective hole a little better. There we go. I just popped that out while we were looking at it. And more detail on the other side, including, stay bolt detail for the jacketing of the boiler. Big old sand dome. You've got the, or boiler dome, horn there. So the horn is actually an air horn, it looks like, mounted on this locomotive. And we're back to the front. You do have pilot as well with pilot detail. Don't forget those couplers have magnetic glad hands. Alright, and here's the tender. You got the tender trucks, ladders going up, separately applied coupler cut lever again. Easy Mate 2 couplers, rear light, deck, wooden deck up top with 4 hatches, and another water hatch up here. It's nicely modeled, Union Pacific on the side. Everything's clear and legible, pretty crisp printing. And there's some detail below, including a speaker cutout in case you want to add sound later as you kind of take a dive into this cool hobby. Often referred to as the world's greatest hobby. Alright, real quick look at the cars. There's a box car, molded in details on the side. Easy Mate 2 couplers, separately applied brake wheel on this side. Triangle Pacific is the name of this boxcar, and it has some decent underbody detail too, and some decent weight. The other boxcar, same variation, different scheme. This is Erie Lackawanna, again with the separately applied brake wheel and molded in detail. Load limits are on the sides there, printed nice and clearly, along with Erie Lackawanna. Nice light blue color, I think. I tell you guys all the time I'm colorblind. I'm red-green colorblind, and it screws with everything now. Speaking of blue, I think this is a blue Great Northern flat car with log load. It's got a zip tie for the log load. You probably want to find a way to either sit that down or secure that. We'll leave it like this for demonstration purposes. But on this flat car, there is a brake wheel, Easy Mate 2 couplers, and ladders. There's all sorts of areas to fasten things down with on this flat car. And the truck detail is decent as well. Up next, Union Pacific cattle car, stock car. The doors do open, which is kind of cool because some of the more detailed rolling stock in our hobby doesn't do that. Union Pacific Railroad shield on the side, see-through detail. G&L on the side, along with a road number and all the load limits. Walkway on the top, which the other ones had as well. I didn't mention crew walkway on the top. That's what you see this offset pattern up there for. That's representing a crew walkway. And then some of the supporting beam detail there below. You get a pretty good glimpse of right about there. Coal car, MS&L. It's got a coal load in it. Separately applied brake wheel again, and some of the crew access ladders. 4 bays on the bottom are represented, along with the bay door latches and the center support beam. Here's a tank car, cyanamide, separately applied brake wheel and grab irons going along the sides. There's a walkway all the way around and some detail below, like air reservoirs. And you have some bolt detail on the car as well, all the way around the ends. Some of the weld line detail is there, and the upper hatch detail is present as well, all molded in. Alright, let's talk 4-bay hoppers for a second. Here is the Santa Fe 4-bay hopper. Comes with lots of printed on information, pretty decent detail, walkway on the top with hatch detail up above, as you can see there. Gate detail below where all the bays would empty out the load. I believe this is a grain hopper. The old barcode system where they used to scan for where the trains were. Separately applied brake wheel, which all these have seemed to have had, and those Easy Mate 2 couplers. Now we've got the Lehigh Valley 4-bay hopper. Different type of hopper, a little more squared off, but you see all the hatch detail up top. Gates on the bottom. Separately applied brake wheel again, which we're getting to a recurring theme here. And really nice printing on this as well. Last but not least, we have the UP caboose. I'll just straighten out the wheels on. The good thing about the wheels moving that well is they could probably accommodate 18-inch cars, but I'm betting that that locomotive might be 20, so you might want to stay with 20. I'll correct that in the comments if I find some other information about it. But here's a UP caboose. You got a little smokestack, Union Pacific shield on the side, Union Pacific number 207 on the side. The cupola, as they call it, the 2 windows there. Decent amount of truck detail, brake wheel, and crew access on the end. We can zoom in a little more on this one because it's not so long, but yeah, there's a brake wheel and crew access on both ends actually, so separately applied brake wheel again. Then on the bottom of the detail, some bracing, molded in airline hoses, and air reservoirs for braking. Now this is just for demonstration purposes, but keep in mind the track is going to be black on your set if you order this one. But I did want to show you how easy it is to connect the Easy Trek set. Just make sure that the rails are even and you're good to go. If you misalign them, it can skip a rail joiner, cause derailments on your set. Additionally, plugging the controller to the terminal joint re-railer in your set, this helps keep things on track as it comes around. Sometimes it assists in re-railing by getting the wheels back on track, but that is where you plug in your controller, and it's simple plug and play. So as you can see, the set is all connected all the way down. I did it in the order of which was shown on the set, but that's because I have no imagination. You guys have an imagination. You can change out cars, and as you get into the hobby, you can buy cars to add to the set and then get more different locomotives and more track, and just a wonderful, cool thing. And eventually you can have a cool layout with scenery and details, and it just kind of grows and gets into that side of you where you want to build. So what I usually do on my reviews for the more independent products on my channel, which are products that are just by themselves, is I do a pull test. But since this is a set, we'll just see if this locomotive can pull the whole set, because that's what it was designed for. And you can see the headlight which comes on with the power pack applied, and the locomotive's pulling the whole set, no problem. That's very cool, and it's pretty smooth as well and quiet. And then we'll check to make sure this locomotive can go in reverse. So there is reverse. I had to put all the slack that was pulled out. So as you can see, there's no reverse light on this set. We'll let the locomotive go by and see how smooth it runs. It's running very smoothly in reverse there. So just wrapping this review up, it was a really cool set. It's able to pull its own consist, which is a pretty long consist. You get a lot of track, pretty decent detail for the amount of money and the amount of products you get in the set, considering the amount of cars, the locomotive, the caboose, track, controller, all for what sometimes runs less than a diesel locomotive or a steam locomotive on the high ends of the hobby. For the more detailed people, this will get you started and or allow your kids to have a good time for a good price. So I'm going to leave you with a run by so you can see this in action. And if you have any questions, let me know, especially if you're new to the hobby. I'm happy to help you figure out how to get started in this fun hobby of model trains. We'll see you next time right here on my channel. Thanks for watching and take care.